Are you getting manifestation success, or are you being a victim? There's a lot of victims that come on my account and they can't handle the way I teach law of assumption, the way I teach you to change your triggers from childhood that are still triggering you now and creating the shitty outcomes that you have. That's what manifestation is. Your thinking about yourself subconsciously is causing your 3D reality. It's even causing the way you react to my videos, especially if I yell. And if you had trauma as a child, or you came from a yelly, screamy, abusive household, then me yelling occasionally, and it's only ever occasionally in my videos, might trigger you. And you've got to understand, guys, I do lives that go for over an hour in my squad, and I used to go live every day on here for over an hour. The yelling part, the bit where I go off my brain at someone who's being a victim or doesn't really get this, probably only goes for a minute. I can't yell for an hour, obviously. And you will see parts of that on my For You page, on your For You page, or on my account. And you're summarizing me as a person who's yelling and screaming and apparently triggering people all the time, all over the place. I'm not, but that's your assumption. And also, if I do trigger you, that's the point. The point of being triggered is to then identify the trigger in you that's being triggered. Understand that you need to then change it, otherwise it will continue in your outdoor, out here 3D life, like with your specific person. And then you need to change it. The reason why I get so much success in my manifestation following is because I trigger you. I trigger you and then I change your life. That's become my catchphrase since I started. And I didn't realize how much I triggered people because I didn't realize I was even doing it until people got really triggered. Some people even leave my account and come back when they've watched every other dumb bitch who copies everything I say. If you're being a victim and you are triggered by me, stay a victim, but you won't learn anything and you won't manifest what you want. I just did a second coaching call with a person in my squad who did coaching with me in December. In December, I literally yelled and screamed at her for the first 15 minutes of her call. She is now completely transformed, okay? She didn't mind me yelling. She actually wanted me to yell. She was in a complete victim state, and everything that was happening to her she felt was beyond her control. Now, in her second coaching call, she realizes it's in her control. She just wanted a little top up because she thought she was doing it wrong because it wasn't here yet. Guys, you have to be patient, but she was doing everything right because she actually listened and she stopped being a victim and she started stepping into her power. This person has written, life is hard enough. Don't need to get screamed at and berated when feeling vulnerable and seeking guidance. I'm not berating you, darling. That's your assumption. And if you actually could listen to me and take the triggers from your lens that you're seeing me through, of your eyeballs or the way you see the world, you'll understand the beration you feel and the trigger you feel is from you. You feel like I'm berating you. I'm not. You feel like I'm putting you down when I yell. I'm not. I'm trying to get through to people like you, unfortunately, who are in victim mode, who feel victims of their circumstances. You've just said life is hard enough. Is it? That's called being a victim. Life's hard. Stuff happens to me. People treat me a certain way. That's the kind of attitude and the kind of assumptions I'm trying to get you to change with my account. But if you want to remain a victim and be triggered by me, not only will you stay a victim and not be able to manifest what you want, but anytime you come across me or anyone else who triggers you in life, like your specific person, you'll keep getting triggered and you won't learn and you won't grow and you won't change and you won't manifest what you want. You'll actually manifest more of what you don't want, like life being hard, because that's your dominant assumption. You'll also have people berate you and put you down. You'll also feel very vulnerable and misunderstood. And that's because of you, because of your assumptions and your triggers from childhood that you haven't dealt with yet. I am here to trigger you. You can't change those triggers sometimes unless you know what they are. And I identify them by triggering you sometimes. I can either do coaching with you and identify them, or I can actually trigger you and then you figure out what they are all by yourself because you got triggered. Maybe it's for some people and not for all. Look, darling, I am not like everyone else, okay? Even though people try and be me, it's happened my whole life. I'm like Marmite. You might fucking hate me, so don't watch me. If I trigger you too much, please don't watch. It means you're not ready. When the student is ready, the teacher appears. And a lot of people aren't ready for me. A lot of people aren't ready to face themselves. A lot of people aren't ready to understand they're being victims. A lot of people aren't ready to occasionally be yelled at. If that's you, Don't watch me. Honestly, please go to some woo-woo bitch with a turban on her head who gives you a lovely meditation, and you'll feel good for those 15 minutes you listen to it, and then life will happen to you again, and someone will trigger you, and you'll be back to square one. You'll have to go back to the meditation, go back to the video that made you feel good, and then you'll just stay the same. People in my following don't stay the same. People in my following get engaged and married and get new SPs and get the house and get the car and change their self-concept completely, that they are not fearless and not triggerless, but when they do get triggered, they know what they can do to change it. If that's you, keep continuing to watch me if you can handle me. If it isn't you and you want to remain a victim, or you want the softly approach to understand this, go and watch someone else, please, because I'm not going to change for anyone, even my followers.